Introduction. This book started as a blog post in October 2017 on my site, donjones.com. The post was entitled, Become the Master or Go Away, and it generated what was, for me, a surprising amount of attention and positive feedback. I stand by the original post to this day, but quickly realized that a more prescriptive work could also be beneficial. First, let me explain the concept of master as it exists in this book and explain why masters are necessary. For thousands of years, human society has recognized that the contributions of individual human beings are important and that preserving and evolving their skills and knowledge is also important. You see signs of that in our current world, such as in the US patent system as well as similar patent systems worldwide. The word patent is centuries old. It appeared in medieval times in phrases like letters patent, essentially referring to any document issued by the government that confers a right or privilege. In our modern system, a patent basically confers a monopoly on the manufacture and sale of a device. So why would the government offer monopolies? I mean, aren't monopolies generally to be avoided? Well, the answer is simple. Fear. Fear that someone would produce an amazing invention and then die, leaving society unable to reproduce the invention. So a short-term monopoly was a lure for inventors to be completely candid about their invention, ensuring that society could benefit from it long into the future. You see, in order to get a patent, you have to describe exactly how it works, and you used to have to provide a working model, although no longer. I realize that patent systems are deeply abused today, but their original intent was to protect society, not necessarily to protect the inventor. Prior to the invention of modern patents, this same fear, this same desire to protect society manifested itself in another way: apprenticeships. Masters in a craft, blacksmiths for example, or carpenters, worked a lifetime to hone and perfect their trade. These craftsmen performed an invaluable service for society, which could not function without the existence of these trades. In order to preserve their livelihood, most craftsmen jealously guarded their trade secrets, their techniques, and so on. But these craftsmen were also human and subject to that ultimate human frailty, death, which resulted in the loss of that craftsman's trade secrets. And so society invented the apprentice. Apprentices paid a fee to join a master's trade and worked alongside that master for years, learning their crafts and their trade secrets. Eventually, an apprentice would become a journeyman, helping the master increase the output of his shop, earn more business, and settle into a semi-retirement. And eventually, many journeymen would either take over the shop or leave town and set up their own shop in some other village, ultimately becoming a master in their own right. The important bit here is that society crafted a system that ensured the continuation and continual improvement of the trade. Yes, masters benefited personally from the system, just as today's patent holders do, but the purpose of the system was to protect the trade. Masters eventually ganged up to form guilds, which represented the interests of the trade and helped to ensure apprentices were shepherded by an accomplished master. So what does this mean to you? Well, in the aforementioned blog post, I tried to make a case that we have all, at some point, been an apprentice. Most of us are at apprentice stage in some topic or another for most of our lives. Many of us have had the benefit of learning, at least briefly, from a master in our respective trade. Too few people, however, go on to become masters themselves. You see, the point of a master is not to know it all. The point of a master is to teach, to share, to pass on. When you are taking a class, you're paying an apprenticeship fee of sorts to briefly apprentice under a master, the teacher of the class. But too many people let it stop there. They assume that the master got paid, and their obligation as a student is fulfilled. But remember that the apprenticeship system, like patents that are after it, was always meant to protect society. To be a truly successful apprentice, we must pass along what we have learned. We must become the master in at least a small way, so that we can continue sharing the information of our trades.